Recently, we had the opportunity to volunteer with a local organization and the city of Loveland, Colorado, where I'm from. And they have a partnership with the Northern Arapaho tribe, who now live in the Wind River Reservation in Wyoming, north of us. But in this area was their native land, and before they were forcibly removed. And so they have a relationship with a lot of they maintain a relationship with a lot of the plants that are edible in this area, and one of those is a chokecherry bush. And so the project that we were able to volunteer with, we were collecting the chokecherries, and so then we could give them to the organization, along with the members of the North Arapaho tribe are going to make jams and bring those to the elders in that community. We were lucky to have members of the Northern Arapaho tribe come and talk with us about the significance of the chokecherry plant in the cuisine of the people, as well as ceremony, and also access to these plants, because they're often in waterways where there's recently been a lot more development, and also because they don't live in these areas anymore. So the project, like the one we were able to volunteer with, helps to provide that access and bring this native plant to the people who can use it for various purposes. And we were able to talk and interview Travis Shakespeare to help us understand a bit more about how they use this plant and the significance of it in their daily lives.
Nanana, Hatha Jabisa, Na Sitna, Travis Shakespeare, Hanana and Nanana, Basu, Basa Awu, Nanana. And I'll translate. Okay, so my name is Hatha Jabisa, that means walks along the stars. My English name is Travis Shakespeare. I'm a Northern Arapaho tribal member. I come from the Big Lodge clan. And the Big Lodge clan is the oldest clan of the Arapaho people. So when they found us out here on the reservation to push east, they found us, and we were out here already. They already have documented proof we're out here at least 3,000 years ago, at least. So that's just about who I am. I'm one of our tribal ceremonial people. I am sponsoring our Hesena Awut next year, and that's what brings me down here to Longmont to come collect berries with Jackie and her group.
Can you tell me a bit more about the significance of chokecherries in ceremony and in just the daily diet of?
Yes. So traditionally, like, when we would collect chokecherries, we would have our Sundance around the same time, because to us, when the berries disappear and they grow over again, that's start of a new year.
Okay.
So a new season, a new growing season. So historically, our Sundances were later around when the time the berries got ripe, and then we'd have a new year or a new season start, and a new life cycle would take off from there. So the chokecherry, we utilize the chokecherry in a lot of our daily foods consumption. We used to make pemmican out of the chokecherries, and dry meat and fat and a few other ingredients. We would make pemmican out of there. And the chokecherry, it's really, really interesting. The chokecherry has small traces of like strychnine and other acids inside of them, so that when we break the seeds, we crush all that up, and all that whatever's in them, it provides your body everything you need to build your immune system and fight off all the no good that comes in. But traditionally, what we do with we just ate a lot of chokecherries. Like Jackie was saying, when we're talking, that first Southwest, that's corn, and then water, and then meat. It's water, corn, so it's youth. Second hill, life. The third hill is meat, and when you're an adult and strong, and that fourth hill is beaniac, gravies, when you have no teeth and stuff. You eat the softer foods. So we bring them chokecherry gravy, our beaniac. Well, we also use all kinds of different berries, but this is our main staple of our diet was the chokecherry, and like I said, we use that with our pemmican. And now when we get done fasting, our elders, our ceremonial leaders make a water mixture with different medicines, and we'll pour water from a certain groundwater wells that we go get, and it's not treated. It's not a treated water like out of a treatment plant. It's just out of the ground. So we'll utilize that water and we'll filter it through the chokecherry, and then that water at the end of that water at the end of our fast, which is we go in on Thursday night and we'll get out on Sunday evening, and when people think when the sun goes down, but it's when the evening star pops up. So that's when we'll get out, and then after that our vow is done, and we're able to drink water, but we have to drink that ceremonial water first, and it has other ingredients in it like a diuretic, and that's something we learned from the bear. We learned which root the bear goes and eats when after he gets done hibernating. So that same root that's in there, it's a diuretic, and it helps get all that poison and bile that was in your gut from not eating and drinking water for 3 days. It helps us get that out. The same way when the bear fasted all winter long, and his body or their body wakes up, they go and eat that root, and that way they could get that no good, and it comes out both ways. And so that's where we learn from the bear, is which roots to use, which ones to eat.
Can you talk about like access to chokecherries? And it seems like these projects are trying to collect it from different areas, and access to those areas, or how that affects the.
Yeah, the access to getting chokecherries nowadays. A lot of the chokecherries, they grow along the waterways, and that's the first property that's bought up. That's the first property that people want to be close to the river, and all that. By buying up all that property, you either destroy the chokecherries and the riparian zones, or you keep them for yourself, and it's your property, and it makes us guys, our access to getting our traditional foods a lot harder, and we don't want to trespass or break any laws, that would get us forbidden and banned from these areas, So like the traditional area where we lived is right here in the Longmont area, and up in Laramie. In the Laramie area, we call that place Bita Awut, and they changed it to Vita Vu because it's just what you hear. And so Bita Awut means Mother Earth to us Arapaho people, and Laramie, you're up on the high plains where you get the sun and everything right off the bat before everybody else. And then that way is the gateway on down into Estes Park and on the Rocky Mountain Trail. So from there we could access the Rocky Mountain Trail and go all the way down to Taos, New Mexico, all the way down into the Rio Grande. And we have stories and campsites of our people being out in those areas. We've had ceremonies down in the Pinion Canyon Maneuver site for down below Trinidad, and that's along the Republican River, where there are chokecherries and there are a lot of other native plants that we did gather. There's a lot of petroglyphs of the Arapaho ceremonies being in there. There's also one of the longest stretches and there's like 50 dinosaur tracks that go along for about 3-4 miles. Wow. So I only got to see them from distance, but the other stuff I got to see close up. So when we were doing a lot of our surveying for historical homelands, there were some areas that we had stories that we were told, like along the Republican River. We know that there was a Sundance grounds there. We know that our people got trapped in some of those canyons during a lot of the blizzards, and some people may have died there, but at the same time the people flourished, and we were able to overcome the blizzard. And after that we had our ceremony, and they put it outside on a petroglyph wall. That's about as big as this area right here, and it's all painted on that wall, and it shows we have a man and a tree, the tree of life, which is significantly the cottonwood, because the cottonwood always signified it was pure, it was clean because of the water that it grew next to. and the water was always clean and pure. So we know that when we see the cottonwoods, we know that we're around clean, pure water, and we're in a clean area where we could have our ceremonies where it's going to be pure and clean, and the water does that for us. So along with like with our you know, so we can't leave that out. The chokecherry, the water, you know, and then woman, we all put those all the way up there. The sun, bitawu, you know, because with there's only four things that provide life on this planet. That's the sun, that's Mother Earth, that's woman, and water. Us men, we don't provide life. We could help cultivate it, and we, you know, that on the other end of the spectrum was not the greatest end, you know, and that's in those parts of life, you know, that's where we are as men. We don't give life, but we can help cultivate it, and we could nurture it and do the best we can with it. So like if we can, you know, start repairing our riparian zones and repairing our stream health, so we can get more, you know, better crops of chokecherries, better crops of wild plum. I seen wild plum, and and that's one of our traditional cultural foods that nobody talks about. So we also pick the buffalo berry, we pick the currant berry, we pick the snowberry, but you know those ones are not as prevalent as the chokecherry, which everybody knows. I have this right to speak for our people. Not a lot of people do. My elder, his name is William C. here. His nickname is Icky John, and he's our oldest fluent member, and he's 82. And he's my master speaker. I'm an apprentice, so I am also on the Language and Culture Commission. I'm the youngest member. I'm only 51, and you know that's 51 years young. And that's what he told me. You're just young. He said, I got a lot of plans for you. I'm like, okay. Well, yeah. He said, I know. I got about a good 20 more years left. He said, we're gonna make the best of them. I said, okay. So you know, with that, you know, I go and I talk with them and learn my language. My wife Patricia, she's a dual language teacher, so you know she too is preserving our language, and so you know we have to talk to a lot of our elders before we embark on things like this. You know, like Jackie and Herb. I'm really glad they're here, so because they provide that circle. I wish we would have had some children, you know, some young men, some young girls to come and pick. You know, that way they can learn too. And also learn the significance of it, because a lot of times people on our own reservation don't know the significance of chokecherry or certain plants or certain animals, you know, and you know that's something that we want to teach them. We want to provide that knowledge and information to them, and because people say, you know, you're a knowledge keeper. I'm like, I am not. I am a knowledge sharer. Because if I'm going to keep it, that means, you know, I'm going to hold on to it. You know, at the same time, I am holding on to it, but I am teaching it, and I'm allowed to share a lot of things. Being a leader, you have responsibilities. You have to take care of, first of all, you got to take care of your planet, your water, your land, your people, all at the same time. And look out for everybody inside your community, not just your Native Americans, not just your tribal members, but every community member inside your community, you know, is relying on you, is relying on the choices you make. And we're a Headwaters tribe, so if we could make the best decisions and help protect our water, that means everybody downstream from us is going to get good water, is going to get what they need, and the rest, you know, is going to go back into the ground where and on downstream for other people. So my idea is, you know, we need to do the best we can while we can, protect and preserve what we have, and rebuild and reconnect with everybody out there, not just natives, but everybody, because now we are all, you know, we've been on this continent for 500 years together now, and we should all start forming that bond, coming together instead of separating and fighting amongst each other again. You know, sooner or later, we're going to realize that we have to come together, and we're all part of one nation, you know, and that's the human being nation. We're all humans. And sooner or later, you know, we're going to realize that, and we hope it's for the sooner, you know, and that way, you know, we could all share and give to each other, share knowledge, accept one another as human beings, as who we are, And as Native people, we know that connection. We feel the connection every time we're out in the community or out in the environment, and more and more people are getting that connection. I'm going to be the one that follows Mother Nature, and if you guys want to follow me, that'd be great. I will show you a lot, and I'll teach you a lot. At the same time, I will learn from you, and we will preserve what we have. If the state is going to own the water, own the land, and then you got to take damn good care of that land. If you're going to own it, and you got to take care of it. You got to do the best you can with that water, the best you can with that land. That way the people down below you get the same treatment. And if you start degrading your land, abusing the water, it's going to leave the man above, Mother Earth. They're going to take it away from us. And we, as humans, should just feel privileged to be able to wake up every morning, to walk on such a beautiful planet. Mother Earth, Vita Awut. And the more people start understanding that we don't own anything, that I think we're gonna flourish better, and we're gonna get along a lot better. And when we understand that we are stewards of the land all together as one, we're gonna do a lot better.